Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this weekly update. Today is September 2nd, 2020. I am Rainey, the proud mayor of the great city of Peekskill, joined by our wonderful city manager, Andy Stewart. Good evening, Andy. How are you once again?
How you doing, Mayor? It's great to see you.
Great. So it's a pleasure is mine. I'm doing great. You know, I have to get a new background now. The city hall that I have behind me is the old city hall before our fantastic new windows. So I'm going to work on that for next week's update.
True, yeah. And if folks haven't seen the windows, they should just walk on by. You can see they're bright, they're white, and all that peeling paint and the other issues with the old windows are gone, and it has energy efficiency benefit.
Energy efficiency benefit, no asbestos, nothing.
And incidentally, really it's part of the famous Honeywell project, which is it's a very broad energy efficiency upgrade. That's a complex deal, and there will be a presentation on that. The mayor's actually asked me and the staff to come in to a city council meeting soon and just provide an update on the Honeywell project, because it involved not just windows, but boilers and other apparatus. So that's important for people to hear. And so we've got that scheduled for a meeting coming up soon.
Yeah, and it's underway. So I'm really, really thankful for that. So I'll work on that. So Andy, I'll let you start it off this week, since I've been started off last couple of weeks, and now let's
okay. Well, just a couple of things that we always do in this update, and one of them is the COVID case report. And people should know, and it's on the city Facebook page, and it comes from the county. The data, there were 12 active COVID-19 cases in the city today, and that's a pretty good number. It's on the low side, which is great. It's been higher before over the last month, and it's all about keeping on wearing the mask, washing the hands, preserving a social distance. We're all in this together. The rules keep changing from the state. They just recently opened up the indoor fitness, right, with a whole set of rules associated with that. So please, everybody, keep using your hand sanitizers. And just on that note, just a reminder, when you come to City Hall, we're now greeting people and helping people get where they need to go, but we're also taking the body temperatures and signing people in with a sign-in sheet in case for future reference is needed for contact tracing or something like that. So the City Hall, just like the fitness places and the restaurants and everybody else, is learning some new processes, and we appreciate your patience with that. Sometimes, there's a little bit of a line there. We help people out as fast as we can.
Absolutely. And I wanted to mention that too. City Hall is open for those who are concerned or just curious of how they can get business taken care of. We have started some processes of opening for certain things, but I do want to remind people, if you set up an appointment via email, is always the quickest way to get a response. With the telephone line, sometimes you can leave a message, sometimes you can leave a voicemail. If you respond via email, you usually get a quicker response from most of the staff, is what I've been told. It's much easier to reach them by email. So whatever department you're looking for, if you look on the city website, the contact information for that department is on there. The department head of that department's email is on there as well. You can contact that person, set up an appointment, and then come down to the city and do whatever needs to be done. A lot of people have been a little bit frustrated because they weren't aware that the city hall was open, and then when they found out it was open, they came down, with a group of people, or maybe 1 or 2 or 3 people even, just to come inside City Hall for a quick question for the clerk or something else. If it's something that could be answered via email or phone call, we encourage you to do that. But if it's paperwork that you want to turn in, or that you have to pick up, or to submit an application that you want to apply for, I encourage you, people, please email the department of who you're trying to get in contact with and set up an appointment. That way, when you come to City Hall, you have no questions or no restrictions. And at the same time, everybody comes in, you sign in, you take as city manager said, a quick test on your temperature. The sanitizer, as soon as you walk in the door, there's actually 2 sanitizers. As soon as you walk in the door, one on the wall and one on the bench. If anybody needs to sit down, then you get in and do your business, you can go right back home.
Yeah, it works. I mean, and on that, we just got some audio feedback there. But on that same topic, the governor still has us on remote meetings. In other words, the public meetings law. And I don't know when that's going to change, but we have to be ready for it when it does. And we start having an in-person meeting, and we're looking at the chambers, the council room there. And just to give you an idea, like right now, the seating capacity normally is 117. But when you do 6-foot distancing, you get about 24 people in those benches. And then there's room for the city council and some staff up front. So just to give people an idea, it really is quite an undertaking to do. And when we do that meeting in person, in all likelihood, we'll also have remote.
going to
So
be
we're
big.
gonna have some people remote and some people in person, and so we're gonna be running the Zoom on top of it in person. It's gonna be going to TV as a broadcast. It goes out on the internet as a live broadcast, and we, just like every other local government, are trying to get through some of the technology and procedural aspects of this. And on top of that, if we're still doing temperature checks, we're actually going to need to staff the meeting in the front door in a way that normally wouldn't have happened, so that guests who are coming in can be signed in, which is an additional cost. And so just to give people a sense of the amount of work that
Oh,
goes
it
into
has to be put
planning
into
for the
effect.
safe operation of the city as a COVID safe space. And when the governor's order that enables us to meet remotely expires, we're
Right,
going to
and
have
we're
to do that.
also yeah, and we're also looking at options of exactly where we should have the meetings at, so people who want to come to the meetings can still have access, because it doesn't matter where we are. There's going to be a limited amount of people that can be inside the building during these meetings under the governor's executive orders and under safety protocol. But we're also going to require everybody has to wear a mask when they're inside the building. So um, I've seen stuff on TV in other municipalities in other states actually where wearing a mask was just a challenge for most communities. But in our city hall, we're going to require people to wear a mask when you come to these council meetings. So just a heads up, so people are fully
Yeah,
aware.
and I really think New Yorkers have gotten that message, and you see a lot of people in compliance with that. I was at the
Yeah.
mall the other day, and everybody's wearing their masks, so it's great to see. I wanted to mention also, because you're just talking about city council meetings, our next meeting is Tuesday night, the council of the whole, and there's a couple of topics on the agenda that I think people will find interesting. One of them is a presentation about affordable housing and inclusionary zoning, and how market rate buildings can include a certain number of affordable units. There's a presentation on that policy, and we're also going to have an update on senior programs from Jonathan Zamora. He's a wonderful guy, runs senior programs and nutrition. And there's another topic which I think people will be interested in, which is essentially really looking at our public works garages, and doing a study of of what what needs there are, and what kind of space they need, and which pieces need to be replaced, and so on and so forth. So that's long range planning for the city that needs to happen. So we're going to talk about that too.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And we've been working, of course, as always, alongside with the Youth Bureau. They had their book bag drive this afternoon. It was a drive-up book bag drive. So if anyone missed it, there's also going to be a book bag drive at the Main Event Barbershop this weekend on Highland Avenue. So, but the Youth Bureau and the school district did a wonderful job today, from about 4 p.m. to about 6 p.m., giving out socially distancing, safe way book bags, where people were literally driving up and grabbing their bags. And if you didn't have access to a vehicle or didn't have a car, they allowed you to come as long as you were 6 feet apart from anybody else in line to grab your bag and school supplies. So we thank you to the Peekskill City Youth Bureau and the Peekskill City School District. And congratulations to Dr. Mauricio for being a superintendent to look out for in 2020 amongst the others. He was one that was nominated, and he has been doing an extremely wonderful job. I want to segue into today, the city school district, and I believe began this Tuesday up to this Friday, and again next week. They've been giving out Chromebooks for all of the children who need access to Chromebooks so they can do virtual learning. We picked one up for my son this afternoon as well, and they're going to be doing it again next week, Tuesday through Friday. And the time today was from 11, I want to say 11 to 2 o'clock. And it was very quick and easy. You had to fill out a paperwork just stating your name and your children's name, the date you picked it up, and they give you an ID number of the computer or the Chromebook and the charger, and you're out the door with no hesitation. It's probably a 3-minute process, 4 minutes if there's a line, but it was really quick and easy. And school starts tomorrow. For those of you who have children in the Peekskill City School District, they're going to be going virtual until the 21st, and then they're going to give the option for those who want to send their students or their children to the schools for actual in-person, in-class education. But the school district has done a phenomenal job handling this crisis in the last few months. So we thank them, and school has beginning tomorrow.
There's a lot of cooperation and overlap, especially at youth recreation, between the school facilities and the city facilities, and there's just a lot of sharing of facilities, and a very important relationship there. It's really a pleasure to work with Dr. Mauricio and his team.
Yes.
And they're doing great things. They're building sports facilities, which are exciting to see. And on the Chromebook thing, one of the things they say, which we all need to kind of work on and figure out, is that it's one thing to give a kid a Chromebook. It's another thing that they have Wi-Fi, and they can
Oh, yeah.
actually get on and do their homework when they
Right.
need to, and go to class and stuff. And there are a lot of families, and you say, well, if you have a smartphone, you're good to go because you can use it a hotspot. But mom
Right.
or dad with their smartphone, they're going to be at work.
Right.
They need to go on an errand. And so there really is a challenge for many Peekskill
Absolutely.
families
Yeah.
of getting access to the internet, even when they have the device.
Chromebook. Yeah. And
And
so,
that's one of the things that we need to talk about more, and look for some
mhm.
solutions on that.
Absolutely. That was one of the things that we mentioned in the DRI too, was trying to get, Wi-Fi for certain areas of the city that may not have access to Wi-Fi. And also the school district, for those who are watching, please look at this school district this city school district website, because they also were purchasing Wi-Fi hotspots for
Mhm.
certain Chromebooks. So they
Right,
can
which is
actually, yeah, access to Wi-Fi to get the work done.
yeah, and maybe there's other ways that we can cooperate with the cable companies or others and get some more hotspots up there, some
Yeah,
Wi-Fi and so
that's
on.
definitely
They even
something.
make park benches with Wi-Fi nowadays. I think they have a couple of them
Yeah,
down in
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
Rochelle.
right,
So
right.
we definitely want to keep an eye out for that. While we're mentioning the website, I just want to mention I didn't want to finish this update with the mayor without mentioning. The mayor is the chair of our police reform task force, and the organizing committee for that. Valerie from the NAACP. Um, Judge Johnson has participated, but he just had to recuse himself actually. But also the Chief Halmy and Susie from the Human Relations Commission. And who am I missing, Mayor? Um,
Um,
the
Mayo.
Mayo Bartlett, who's a wonderful civil rights attorney, works a lot with the county police and the whole Westchester
Mhm.
area on issues related to police reform.
And
The group
Councilman
has been
Hernandez.
meeting regularly. We put out a call for and received a couple of dozen applications, submissions of people who want to participate on the task force. I'm in the process of reviewing those and making a plan to have a first meeting and set that task force up, and then start inviting presentations from interested parties and groups and so on. So it's really exciting. It's moving forward. People who want detailed information about that, go to the city website or just Google. It's easier to just Google something, but you'll find City of
Google.
Peekskill Police Reform Task Force. You'll find a page with some key documents from the task force so far, and also an email address and other ways of getting in contact if you want to participate.
Absolutely, and we look forward to that. And once the committee is actually created, people of the community, the more the merrier. The more input that we get, the more requests, suggestions, questions, concerns that we get, the better we can direct this task force. We like this to be a unique task force for the city of Peekskill. So your participation is great. Speaking of your participation, thank you for mentioning that too, Andy. That's very important. I was going to speak on it too, so I'm glad you did. But speaking of your participation, people at home, Census 2020, time is running out. I've seen a lot of people posting up banners, posting up flyers. I got back on Facebook not too long ago. I saw a lot of people posting up the flyers and the actual website information and actually posting saying that they've taken it. I've seen a lot of bumper stickers. Your census is important. The city of Peekskill has just barely made it above 60%, which the municipalities that are under 60%, we're doing better than, but there's a lot that are over 70% that we need to catch up with. And I wouldn't say catch up with them because they're better, but catch up because we're better. So if you're at home and you haven't done your census, or if you don't know what the census is, please just Google it, get the information on it, and see how it can benefit your community. They have started walking and knocking on doors in areas of the places where people have not done their census. So if somebody knocks on your door with a census bag and the census ID, and they're a person there for census, and they can help you out if you have any questions. If they don't have a census bag or a census ID, you have to answer your door. But if you do answer your door and they do have an ID and a census information bag, I would certainly let them inform you on exactly what you can do to take your census and get it done, because we need everyone to participate in that. 2020 census is very important, and you have less than a month to get it done. So, and that's all I have on my list, Andy, for tonight. I do want to mention to everyone, we were meeting with the Senator Harcum again tomorrow morning, and we're going to discuss the response from Con Ed. There were a lot of complaints after this storm, but this wasn't the first time we've had these similar complaints after a storm or after something hit us hard. And a lot of people throughout the entire state of New York has expressed their frustration, especially leaders, town supervisors, city managers, and mayors across the board have all come together this time to actually implement action on what we're going to do and how we're going to get Con Ed to respond better. And Con Ed seems to be wanting to work with the municipalities, so we're looking forward to see what comes out of this. So anyone who has the complaints about Con Ed, please let me know, because the more complaints that I can say that my city pulled together, the more I have leverage when I speak to Con Ed in the state senate this afternoon or tomorrow morning. And
I got a complaint. I got a complaint. They quit work at 10 o'clock. Our guys are out there until the job is done. They quit work at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, and that's something that needs to be addressed. But I know Town Supervisor from Linda Puglisi from Cortland had mentioned the same thing. She said the same thing, that every single storm or
How do you quit work at 10 o'clock?
Yeah, it's people.
It's an emergency.
Yeah, people don't quit living at 10 o'clock, you know. So, and I just want to give one quick update. It hasn't changed for as long as I think I can remember. My memory's still pretty good. The neighborhood center has always been a place for cooling, for heating, for a charging station to charge your phone. Due to COVID, of course, there's limitations on how many people can actually come in the area now. But for those who are concerned, you know, oh, there's storms coming up. What are we going to do? We got to charge our phone. For anybody who has access or can actually get to the library neighborhood center, that has always been the place to charge your phone, to get a little bit of heating, to get a little bit of cooling. And until further notice, that's going to always be the place. So don't be confused on where to go or if there's anywhere to go during these crises, during these crazy times, because that has not changed. So I'm going to make that very, very clear. And other than that, continue social distancing, continue wearing masks. I do want to acknowledge two last things, Andy. The signage that I've been seeing saying "We are Peekskill," those signs are
very
beautiful.
good.
I love driving into Peekskill, especially from the Main Street entrance gateway, and seeing that on the Star, what is that, the Evening Star building. Those signs are beautiful, and it just defines the city of Peekskill and how unique we are. Those are beautiful. So people, if you haven't seen them drive around the area, especially the downtown, or just drive over by the Evening Star building right across the street from Bowman Towers, you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. Those signs are beautiful.
And that's your business improvement district, hard at work for you. Those guys are really.
It's no joke. They've always been pretty good. And last but not least, the masks that I've been seeing, the creativity that people are putting in these masks are beautiful. It's like I almost don't want to go outside without a mask because I have about maybe 9 or 10 different masks. I love to show off the fashion. So it's been fun being safe, and keep it that way. God bless you all, and God bless one of the greatest cities on earth.
All right, have a good night.